yeah, I'm here. I'm a former league MVP and I'm an NBA champion. But this young buck is coming in here trying to show me what he's got. Let me remind him who the hell I am. And when Wembanyama said, wait a minute, guess who I am? And that is what you look for from the game of basketball.
Victor Wembanyama is getting ready for his second season in the NBA after winning the Rookie of the Year, and he's been living up to all the hype around his name. I mean, his name is alien because we haven't seen anyone like him in the league before, and he's considered one of the faces of the next generation of the NBA. There's a lot of reasons to be excited about this. He's only 20 years old and stands at 7'4" with an 8-foot wingspan, and in his rookie season, he averaged 21 points, 3 assists, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game. It's pretty crazy what he's been able to accomplish so far, and he's only getting better as the years go on. He just got tested against the best of the best during the 2024 Paris Olympics, where he matched up against Team USA in the gold medal match. Even though he fell short, leaving with a silver, he left a warning message for his opponents in the future. He said, "I'm learning and I'm worried for the opponents in a couple of years everywhere." Wemby was selected by the San Antonio Spurs, considered the most hyped up prospect since LeBron, and the Spurs are in the midst of a rebuild, with Wemby as the cornerstone of this team under the leadership of legendary coach Greg Popovich. But last season the Spurs were not good, but having Wemby on the floor changes everything. In their first game of the season, they matched up against Luka and Kyrie, and all eyes were on Wemby to perform under pressure. And though his first game of the season wasn't a dominant performance, he did show hints of his potential, because during this game, Wemby put up 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, while shooting 60% from behind the arc, making it a pretty efficient night for him, and even matching up against one of the top teams in the NBA. The game was close all the way to the very end. They had the game tied at 1:15 with 3 minutes left, but the Mavericks' experience overpowered Wemby and the Spurs, with the Mavs clutching up at the end of the game to secure the win. Wemby could score down low, but it was clear that he was also a threat from the perimeter, which is pretty surprising considering the fact that he's 7'4" and he's moving like a guard. Obviously, he's a lot skinnier right now because he's younger, but it honestly reminds me of when Giannis first joined the league. He was really skinny, but through hard work he started to bulk up, and now he almost looks like a different person. And after this transformation, he even won a ring and the MVP of the league. So I say that to say Wemby is scary because we're only seeing the beginning stages of his career so far. But speaking of Giannis, one of my favorite matchups of the entire season was when Wemby matched up against Giannis the beginning of the new year. On January 4th, 2024, the Spurs matched up against the Milwaukee Bucks, and at this point in the season, the Spurs only had around like 5 wins and were coming off of their 4th straight loss. But people weren't looking at the Spurs versus Bucks, they were looking at Wemby versus Giannis. Wemby was averaging 19 points, 10 rebounds, and this will be his hardest test yet. So the game got underway and it was instantly a classic. Wemby and Giannis were going at each other and actually guarding each other most of the game, and Wemby seen this as an opportunity to show Giannis who he was. But the former MVP had to put him in his place for now. There were highlights on both ends of the floor, and this had to be Wemby's most competitive game all season, and it did not disappoint from all the hype that was building around it. In fact, I was watching the game myself, and Giannis is on my fantasy basketball team, so I was pretty happy at the end of the night. But by the end of the game, the Bucks took home the win, 125-121. But Wemby had some highlights of his own when he got this insane block against Giannis, and ultimately Wemby ended the game with 27 points, 5 blocks, while Giannis dropped 44 points, 14 rebounds, and a lot of poster dunks. And in the post game, Giannis praised Wemby, saying, "I've never seen anything like him." And Wemby returned the praise, saying, "He's someone I grew up watching, and he's one of the greatest players in the world." So it was nice to see Giannis co-sign the rookie, and it's clear something special was brewing in the NBA. For the rest of the season, Wemby would continue to shock the NBA world with games like when he recorded a triple-double with 10 blocks, or the game when he got 27 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. Or what about the game when he dropped 40 points and 20 rebounds versus the Knicks at the end of the season? I mean, the list goes on. It's pretty incredible what he's been able to do as a rookie. Victor Wembanyama won the Rookie of the Year award. He was battling against Chet Holmgren. Wemby was the clear winner by the end of the season. He also led the leagues in blocks, and this was a step in the right direction for Wemby and the Spurs. The Spurs just added veteran point guard Chris Paul, who's known for his playmaking with the bigs, like back during his time with the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, and that's going to be good for Wemby because he's going to put the ball where it needs to be, and he'll guide Wemby in the right direction. position. But the NBA season wasn't the only way Wemby was able to impact the game. He also got a chance to play on the international stage, and going into the 2024 Paris Olympics, France had a really solid lineup. Wemby was able to get more global experience, and this is familiar territory for him. It's a little different in the Olympics though, because they're playing under FIBA rules, which are different than the NBA. Like, the games are shorter, so it creates a new style of basketball that all the teams have to adapt to going into the Olympics. But the games got underway. They were playing in front of the home crowd in France, and they ended up going 2-0 in the group stages. But Wemby faced adversity in the first round of the quarterfinals. Now he was in the single elimination bracket for the gold medal, so every single game counts. If you lose, you're out. But in the first game, he struggled from the arc, going 0 for 6. Ended the game with 7 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. So his team had to carry the load offensively, making it a pretty forgettable game for Wemby. But France persevered against Canada and matched up against Germany, which was sure to be a good matchup. But Wemby struggled from behind the arc once again, going 1 for 8. However, he impacted the game differently with 3 blocks and 7 rebounds. But his team had to carry the load offensively once again, and in a closely contested game, they were able to punch their ticket to the gold medal match. But Team USA assembled the Avengers this year with one of the most incredible basketball teams we've ever seen. They just came off of a ridiculous comeback against Serbia, and Team USA was locked in and ready to get that gold medal. And this put Wemby in his first finals against the best of the USA in a tournament that only happens once every 4 years. And on the biggest stage of them all, despite struggling in the earlier games, Wemby would not disappoint during this game. Wemby led his team in scoring with 26 points, going 11 for 19 from the field, including 3 of 8 from downtown, grabbing 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Team USA was finding it pretty difficult to stop him, but Team USA's offense was just on a different level. And by offense, I mean Steph Curry. He just came down and started smacking threes left and right to secure the win for Team USA in a pretty insane game. I recommend you go back and watch it if you haven't already. It was one of my favorite games to watch. Wemby did miss a few clutch shots in this game, especially towards the end of the fourth quarter, but it's not going to be like that forever, because in a few years he'll start making those shots. So for the time being, the older generation had to put Wemby in his place. But like I said, things are going to change quickly. Victor Wembanyama is the future of the NBA, and I'm so excited to see how he grows as a basketball player. Wemby's rookie season and his Olympic journey was just the beginning of his rise in basketball, and like Giannis said before, the sky is going to be the limit for him. So we'll see what the Spurs can do with Victor Wembanyama, see if they could build around him, and I'm interested to see how his career plays out. But one thing is certain, Victor Wembanyama represents the future of the NBA.